gentleman treat somebody else.
Because,
So,
I'm talking to Julie.
if I have to come down here again because I can't talk 5 KCs away from you, then I'll be down here and I'll be reading to you tonight out of the old Kenwood TS-830 manual.
About that, just easy.
Yes, indeed. Let's hope you can be a gentleman. N6NTM.
On that one. And there's the carrier again. Hold on. We'll see if it stays stable there. It's distracting to that. Okay, I've got signal reports too. Hold on.
All right, signal reports. Okay, so he's going to ignore me again.
George, 25
so it
over.
looks like we're both talking here, I guess, tonight. That's what we're going to do tonight.
Skip, 30
Because
over.
I've only asked this guy, Steve, to
over. So that's the
make sure if he's going to run 10 KCs wide that with spurious emissions, that he's going to make sure he's got that much room to run that nap.
When I was a kid,
way out of whack radio. Well, let me see. It starts off with removing and unpacking that 830S Kenwood radio from its shipping container and packing material and examine it for visible damage. If the equipment's been damaged in shipping, notify the transportation company immediately. Save the boxes and packing material for future shipping or moving.
Maybe that's part of the reason why
the following accessories should be included with the transceiver. Instruction manual,
that's a shame.
Plastic extension feet with screws, the speaker plug, a 7P DIN plug, and a 6-amp fuse. Yeah. And then finding the best place for that new Kenwood, as with any solid-state electronic equipment, the TS-830S should be kept from extremes like heat and humidity. Choose an operating location that's dry and cool and avoid operating the transceiver in direct sunlight. Also allow at least 3 inches clearance between the back of the equipment and any object. This space allows for adequate airflow from the ventilating fan to keep the transceiver cool. And the way it looks like a pretty cool radio back in its day. So the cabling in parts 2-1 to prevent electrical shock and reduce the possibility of TVI and VCI, connect the transceiver to a good earth ground through as short and as heavy lead as possible. Use ground rods or metal cold water feed line. Of course, they won't tell you that now. A ground connection greater than a 1/4 inch away from the transceiver may be a good DC ground, but not an RF ground. Connect through a 50-ohm antenna feed line to the coax connector on the rear as well. And if CW operation is desired, connect a key to the key jack. Use shielded line or coaxial cable.
One more wrong move, they die.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. You're going to have to get your strongest stations out here tonight. I'm thinking anyway. That's what I was thinking.
Let's see.
External speaker and headphones receive audio from the TS-830S. Is a 1.5 watt to 4 watt 16 ohms. It has a built-in speaker plus an external speaker jack on the rear. The speaker may be an 8-ohm permanent magnet type, 4 inches or larger. The internal speaker is disconnected when the external speaker is used. Headphones should also be 4 to 16 ohms impedance. When the headphones are connected to the front panel phones at the jack, the speaker is disabled. They had to say that twice. I don't think anybody was listening to him the first time.
But for some reason, it fell sideways.
Well, yeah. To prevent electrical shock and reduce the possibility of TVI and BCI, connect the transceiver to a good earth ground.
Well, it is.
Yeah. I thought they just told us that.
20-pound, whatever it was, you can't pick it up.
And onto the front panel. The symbol after the part name indicates.
Into the sidewalk behind it.
And the notch indicator LED. This inductor, light emitting diode, illuminates when the notch circuit is turned on. The same with the VFO.
I'm kind of wiped out.
It illuminates.
I woke up this morning.
Yep.
Like 9:30.
It's not lighted during fixed channel or remote VFO operation, however.
Sorry, I missed you out there.
Fixed channel indicator LED. When the internal fixed frequency oscillator controls the transceiver operation. And the RF antenna indicator LED, this illuminates when the RF attenuator is turned on.
And WA6 JBD.
Oh yeah, that's the same thing it says in my book too. Yeah. The DH display hold, that's what that is, switch. When this switch is on, the display frequency remains on even if the main tuning is changed. This feature is used to memorize the original frequency when checking other frequencies.
When he was in high school, he got into mountain biking.
It sounds like you guys got 2 or 3 people talking over here. I must be interfering a little bit. I hope that's not happening. As we're trying to be a gentleman out here tonight, no doubt. And I hope you're all enjoying this little box opening of the. It's a good old radio, that 830S, the TS 830S.
A pretty adventure.
And there is a speech processor in that radio. That switch is used during sideband operation, obviously. You set the switch to the on position, and the speech processor will be activated, increasing the average talk power. Compression level can be adjusted by the processor control. That's number 8 on the front of the dial.
I think
if you guys are seeing the picture. You have to look in the manual on page 8 there. It'll direct you.
Hobby as I am about mine. And about my only other comment was appreciate the comments on the school thing. I think my success here, I think the key to success.
Well, I can hear 2 people talking. I must have confused somebody. The control adjusts the compression level.
Very little.
The meter switch number 12 on the diagram. To the comp for compression position and adjust this control while observing the meter. And then there is a noise blanker and the noise blanker level control. That's kind of nice, being a variable and everything.
But I'd ask the kids, how many of you have broken a toy and raised their hands? How many of you?
N6NTM.
Fewer hands, but I raised mine at that point.
This controls the AGC, the gain control circuit.
When I was
off, disables it, and then on fast, it's normally used for CW operation, and slow is normally used for sideband operation. Oh yeah.
It was amazing.
So the meter determines the transmit meter function, because it can do a couple of different things, but the automatic level control
what it's all about
for the ALC and the voltage feedback from a linear amplifier operated in conjunction with the TS830S for sideband operation. The ALC reading for voice peaks should be within the indicated ALC range. The ALC voltage adjustment is made with the mic control for sideband
ground.
And with the car control for CW,
So I'm going to
plate current. So it does a couple of different things. In this position, the meter monitors the final tube plate current.
You guys have a good evening.
Okay, and mine's looking pretty good. What do you think?
In Upland. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, right up there about 3 kW. Oh boy. There's no meter scale for the position. Normally the reading should be adjusted with the RF meter control for about 2/3 scale, so you can see it peak and pass that. This indicates compression level, and the speech processor. That position monitors the high voltage power supply, and the scales calibrate from 0 to 10, indicating to 1,000 volts. Hello, Magnolia. And 6NTM for station identification.
Very good, Jay. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And then there's a standby switch.
Let's see here. Answer.
This two-position lever switch selects received
today.
The transceiver is receiving unless the microphone push to talk switch or the Vox circuit is activated. And then send, of course, locks the unit into transmit. They call that Vox nowadays, but it does have a Vox gain, however. This controls the sensitivity of the Vox in a voice-operated transmit circuit.
The antenna I'm running is...
And then it has, of course, all three controls there, the Vox delay as well. And it has a headphone jack on it, which allows the use of 4 to 16 ohm headphones through a 1/4-inch phone plug. Of course, you know they downgraded that to a 3.5 on most radios nowadays.
And everyone have a pleasant good evening.
Oh, yeah, N6NTM for identification.
Signal report.
We want to stay within the rules.
Three all around.
And I hope everybody's enjoying this Kenwood introduction for that 830S. I know how popular those were.
Okay, Jay.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. And if anybody wants to buy one of these manuals, it might be on the 40-meter swap net here before long. This is an original, the one that came with the 830S.
So I'm going to pass along my 73s there.
Oh, it sounds like some people are checking out early. That must mean it's my turn next. N6NTM.
Mike, why not? If you're willing to use it, but frankly, most of us could get along with a lot less.
Oh, yeah. So the CW is used for operation. A high-cut filter is inserted in the receiver audio current to reduce unwanted noise. The sideband filter selected for wide receive bandwidth. The arrow is used for CW operation with CW filters YK88C in the 500 hertz area, and the YK88CN 270 hertz, and the YG455C. Everybody has that, 500 hertz.
Yeah, it's
or the YG455CN for 250 hertz, which are available as optional accessories.
No problem at all.
An operation.
Matter of fact, I want to commend everybody tonight just plowing right through it, because this signal did not hold up compared to some of the Swan signals tonight.
Roger.
Very, very strong. Jay,
but if you want to get away from them boat anchors, that TS830, you know, if you want to stick with some of the older looking radios,
I got to have that in-fed antenna. Thank you very much for passing on the information and who has it for sale and so on and so forth.
Dictates the use of upper side band and above the 10 megahertz band.
It's a great antenna, and I do appreciate the information on it. The proof is in the pudding because
the lower side band
I call it the anti-jammer antenna now because, man, oh man, you just clobbered the jam. I didn't even hear him.
Megahertz band.
Yeah, he was all talking about this and the other. I said, what? I can't hear. I was kind of interested a little bit, but then again, when you started talking about the antenna, I said, well, that's more important.
And it adjusts for
all right, so with that, 73 to everybody, it was a good net, and too bad.
In the cow on position, the receive frequency can be calibrated at 25 kilohertz intervals.
Maybe it was breastfed too long or whatever. I have no idea. Don't care. All right, 73, everybody. And look for you next week.
You don't really,
K6LGL
bother
and the Great Swan Group.
Us to talk on 3900 with your
WA6JKN. And take a look at my signal.
You got that
it's
radio
called digital distortion.
You're so inconsiderate.
You can talk about Kenwood 830s all day long.
3900.
Good luck with that.
Down here and
WA6JKN is clear. 73.
And tell you all about the TS830S. Yeah, it's a pretty nice radio. I've never seen one in person, but I do have an original manual here that I'm looking to pass down to somebody who is gentlemanlike.
But I guess not.
I guess not. Well, anyway, this is N6NTM for identification.
Congratulations, you guys did well.
All right, very good.
W6Y.
There is a Monty for the monitor switch. It delivers
Lima Charlie, George, no
signal to the AF for monitoring modulations. Yeah. And number 23, as you can see in the photo, the RF attenuation switch. Never use that, by the way. Radio. Because the meter is in line after it, and then all your readings are false on the meter for issues.
Swan 350.
But Flex Radio did come up with a much smarter way to go about it. They put the attenuators, the filters, after Steve, so that the F meter gets the signal strength no matter what you do with the radio right off of the antenna before any adjustments are made to it. That's a nice thing about Flex. You always get only a little bit of carrier meter reading.
Yeah, all right. Very good.
The digital display indicates operating frequency to the nearest 100 hertz, which was pretty good back when the 830 was around, number 25, the analog dial scale. The mono scale permits direct analog frequency readout over the 0 to 500 kilohertz range, graduated at 1 kilohertz interval.
Swan.
Operating frequency equals the dial in kilohertz, plus the band switch frequency in megahertz, an additional 50 kilohertz both above and below the 500 kc range is also covered. See, they were thinking on that one.
And this guy kind of, he floats around. He won't be back with us for a long time. He just goes around.
Oh, goody.
Make people
I noticed that most of the signals that are on this frequency during this net,
I was the one that was
for identification N6NTM, are actually quite in line. A couple of them look pretty square, and they weren't bothering anybody 5 kcs up.
Anyhow,
but Steve's radio is unacceptable.
We'll see you on Monday.
So I hope you guys don't mind me talking on your frequency when I can't talk on mine due to lack of consideration on Steve's part.
KF6SYD signing
the load control. This controls the loading of the network between the final section and the antenna. Adjustment is described in section 4, which I'm going to get to next week, or whenever Steve's on this frequency, or 3895, making it impossible for us to enjoy our radios on 3900. Plate control. This controls the plate tuning of the final amplifiers. Calibration is approximate. They always let you know that on the motor rigs. That's pretty nice of them.
Well, I'm just amazed.
And number 29 on the photo
I'm running
is the drive control. That control tunes the plate tank circuit of the 12BY7A driver, as well as the receiver's antenna and mixer coils.
And
in receive, the drive control is tuned for maximum sensitivity, maximum S-meter deflection, and the transmit for a maximum on-scale ALC reading. So you got a couple things to keep an eye on there. These points occur concurrently. Tuning for one also achieves the other.
Passing that on to you.
Oh, thank you.
George. Yeah, thanks.
And thank you for that.
I wouldn't know how to look it up.
I guess you probably own one of these
I ring the bell.
830s, huh?
So looking forward to Monday.
I don't mind sharing with you guys.
Catching up with him, that'll be a whole lot of fun. Thanks,
Okay.
George. Have a good
then
evening.
the band switch, the 10-position switch selects all amateur bands from 1.8 to 29.7. To select the 28.5 or 29.5 megahertz band, push the positive 0.5 switch.
Back to 0.
They'll move on to that in number 33. Use the 10 megahertz band for WWV reception, and auxiliary AUX receive band is also available. They were starting to do that back when the 830 came out. The coil pack and the receiver front end and PLL components must be installed and aligned for a specific received frequency range desired. And then the plus 0.5 switch there in conjunction, with the band switch. That's the one I just brought to you there in number 32. This is switch number 33. And the transceiver will operate in the 28.5 megahertz band. When the band switch is set to the 29, the transceiver will operate in the 29.5 megahertz band. This switch has no function at any other band switch position. Because they were playing in 10 meters. The RF gain, everybody knows that adjusts the receiver amplifier gain, turn fully clockwise for maximum gain, and a correct S-meter reading. What do you think? It's got to be wide open for the S-meter to be accurate. N6NTM for identification.
We'll give you a call. Put that radio in the back seat.
Good evening. The switch is number 36 on your picture there, the power switch. This switch is all power to the transceiver. And number 37, the ear switch, that switch turns the 3 transmitting tube filaments on.
And like I was saying.
Oh yeah, number 38. There's only 44. There's only 44 switches on the front of that 830. And number 38 of 44, the BBT, a variable bandwidth, which is Steve doesn't have one of those, obviously. Otherwise, he wouldn't have 10 kcs of spurious emissions. Quite a go against these. He signed a piece of paper saying that he'd be a gentleman while he was operating a ham radio and wouldn't go outside the 3 kcs. But we're pretty liberal here nowadays on ham radio. Most people don't care how wide your radio is. But if you're going to be outside the gentleman's rule of 3 kcs, you should make sure there isn't anybody above you or below you at the same rate of spurious emissions that you're dispersing. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have to learn about the TS-830S. Number 39 on the run-up here tonight, the tone control. It adjusts the audio tone quality of received signals, and you feel free to adjust that as you desire. Isn't that nice of them? Number 40, the IF shift control for those of you that don't know about IF shift. During reception, the center frequency of the IF crystal filter can be shifted, positive or negative, 1.2 kilohertz. facilitating adjustment of tone quality or eliminating interference, which this had no effect whatsoever on Steve's 10 kcs of spurious emissions, I might add, from nearby frequencies. In this case, 5 kcs away, and that's some spurious emissions, let me tell you, folks. That's critical.
Hey, Bob?
Yeah.
Idiot.
For normal operation, set to the center detent position. There is a click right there in the middle for the stop, just so you don't have to really pay attention to it. And there is a notch control. This was way back when notches were just getting real popular amongst most of the bigger name brands. Turn the notch switch on to activate the notch filter. Adjust the notch frequency to null the beat tone interference signal. My radio's pretty new, but it couldn't quite get rid of Steve. We're hoping Steve learns to be a gentleman here. Otherwise, well, like I said, if I can't talk on 3900, I'll come down and hang out with you guys. I hope nobody minds. Number 43 out of 44, only one more to go. The XIT switch. This push switch activates the XIT transmit incremental tuning circuit and the XIT indicator. By adjusting the XIT control, the VFO transmit frequency can be varied plus or minus 2 kilohertz without changing the receiver frequency. Hey. Boy, that's hard to do on them boat anchors that are pretty popular down here on 3895. Number 44, rounding out the accessory knobs on the front of the 830. This push switch activates the RIT receive incremental tuning circuit and the RIT indicator. Yes.
So I was going down.
And that pretty much rounds out the front panel. And depending on Steve's, coherence, we'll move to the back panel of that wonderful Kenwood 830S.
What an idiot.
And the squirrel had a lot of acorns in his mouth, and I asked myself, how come this squirrel has all those acorns in his mouth? Let's go chase him down and see where he's packing them in at. And he went to an oak tree, and there was a hollowed out place in the oak tree. Woodpecker came out of there and scared the squirrel, and he went down to him. So then he came back up and put him in there. And we went up there and took all his acorns away.
We don't really like that.
I think there was 2 people talking there again. I wonder why that is. Is anybody having a problem receiving everybody tonight?
Don't like here.
And then the squirrel got mad at me for taking his acorns away. And he started chasing me through the woods. And we got up to the steps of the house, and I slammed the door in the squirrel's face, and I came out with a shotgun, and I blasted him, and I got all my acorns back.
Is my stuff sound all right to you, Herb?
Oh, yeah. I got
with your acorns. Hey, let's see how about sending me a watt meter. You got one down there?
I just bought a watt meter. I bought one a couple
Well, I ain't even had a month.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you guys next time Steve's out here bleeding 10 kcs. Thanks for tuning in. N6NTM for identification.
Ain't you gonna talk some more?
And QSY to the other one.
got nothing, Donnie, that I probably ain't got nothing that will handle all that power you run.
Oh, we got to have at least 2,000 more.
I may have more sense.
Quite weak. He's back up on 90.
Anyway, he just
banging his chest, feeling really proud of himself.
I like the 101.
Oh, Kevin, did I really have a big signal? NY6L.
Absolutely, Jay. You were clobbering them. So was Steve, and even George. I couldn't believe it. Ron was coming through. Mel was coming through. MWL was coming through. Even Skip at the tail end there. I could hear him. He wasn't as strong audio-wise as the rest of you guys, but man, you guys were plowing right through. I was just sitting here smiling, saying that's the way to do it. Keep going, keep going. And so anyway, that's why I'm saying my hat's off to all you guys. You have great antennas, great rigs, and it did the job tonight quite well. The guy just wasted his time.
I don't know what happened, but I guess Steve there sent me a text saying that he wanted to continue with the back panel of the 830S. There was a guy on the trying to do a field day thing, but he didn't get any contact.
Or stay here, just like Steve said.
Over on him with that.
He's still going to get his acorn, no matter what.
Well, I know
So anyway, that's the answer for you, Jay. NY6L, WA6JKN.
Great radio.
Of course, they start off with if you're looking at the picture on page 12 of an original owner's manual of that Kenwood radio, they start off with the cooling fan. This fan cools the RF amplifier section to ensure reliable and efficient operation.
Yeah, good night, Jay.
Number 2
That's a great antenna, I'm telling you.
And that adjusted the RF output meter reading set for 2/3 scale reading during CW transmission. 2/3 scale, folks.
Yeah, don't need to. You're blasting up here.
Antenna connector.
I'm just running a
Let me get a look at that real fast, like.
I got a TS690.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that before. It's a strange connector, but it looks like an old Amphenol PL259. The dark brown one. Well sought after nowadays, by the way.
To 1,000 watts on Kevin.
Anyway, that coax connector should be attached to a suitable 50-ohm antenna for transmitting and receiving.
And even George, I'm not sure if you're running barefoot
and
or
number
not,
4,
but
the bias control. That adjusts the bias voltage.
I know you got a little bit of power behind you. It sounds great. But anyway, I got to get out of here. It's that time for me to go spend time with Diane. So I'm going to pass along my very best to 73 to 1 and all, and we'll look for you down the log. Back over to you, Steve. WA6 Juliet Kilowatt November. Now look at that clean signal. That's what a clean signal looks like. There you go. Digital pre-distortion. And you don't find that in the 830 sugar book. It just won't be in there. You don't even want
the screen grid voltage
we're running
final
tonight here, Kevin.
for neutralizing switch off.
It's barefoot.
The switch remains on for normal operation.
On the Swan.
The AC power cable. This cable is used to connect an AC power source to
yeah, that's amazing, George. That Swan is just putting in. You're just cutting through all of the QRM with that Swan. Nicely done there, George.
Line, connect the key to this 1/4-inch phone jack for CW operation. Key opened terminal. Voltage is approximately minus 65 volts.
9, George, you're doing a good job.
Number 9 is one of the controls for the Vox. Adjust the control to prevent speaker output from tripping the Vox. And number 10, now this one's a little more crucial there, the speaker jack. Because back then there's not too many radios. You know, the AF amplifier really couldn't handle running 2 speakers, so the receiver audio output can be connected through this jack to an external 4 or
You know, I was thinking of something. I hope this guy doesn't get himself a Swan.
Disconnected when the
no, that would be awful. I hope he doesn't get a Swan. Then he might be able to do something with jamming. But
number 11, the IF out.
That other stuff, he's not going to have
a buffered mixer output for pan display use. This is a wideband, low-level IF signal to feed the SM220, the BS-8 oscilloscope in pan. It's a display combination. Of course, they've gotten more elaborate with that nowadays, but nonetheless, it was a little ahead of its time. At 830 was a nice-looking rig, and popular, too, over the years. Number 12, the IF out, it's number 2. There's 2 of those, the high-level narrow-band IF output taken before the RX produced detector for the scope display to receive signal waveform to feed the SM220 vertical input. What do you think? Well, that just leaves number 13, the external VFO connector, N6NTM for station identification. The external VFO connector, this DIN connector is used to interface the Kenwood VFO 230 external VFO. The interconnecting cable is provided with the VFO 230. And it's pretty nice looking, too. They started making things look like the radio. Yep, it matches real well. Well, next week or the next time Steve's bleeding all over 3900, we'll move on to Section 4 for all you people that are interested in the Kenwood 830S there. N6NTM. Oh, hey, you're welcome. I didn't get the whole call sign, but you're welcome. Let's see if I can go back and use the frequency now. I mean now. N6NTM. QSY.